BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to BodyBags. It's week 189, and I'm your Sunday host, Bourgie86 here again. Yes, guys, it's that time for the Sunday review, and I got a fun one for you guys today. This film that I'm doing today is from 1988, yes, and this is actually the newest release from Massacre Video, which I was very stoked because I was hearing rumors of this coming out for the longest time on Blu-ray, and it's finally here. And it goes by the title, of course, of Hack-O-Lantern. Yes, look at that awesome cover art. This is actually the limited edition slip box of this film. It comes with this side slip cover, which you see it's a side one, which is cool because I just started seeing these recently popping up in like physical media standpoints, and I'm really digging like the side slip boxes that companies have been doing. And Massacre Video did a gorgeous job on this one, especially with that awesome cover art. And this is the actual cover art that the film will come with if you purchase it. I believe these are limited to like 1,000 copies, I believe. Don't hold me to that. But pretty much Hack-O-Lantern is like a 80s like homage style slasher film to Halloween in a way, because it takes place on Halloween. And pretty much the main plot of this one, we're introduced to our main set of characters, the Drendels, and mother and father, and they have 3 young kids, Tommy, Vera, and Roger. And we introduced to their grandfather, who we find out later in the film is the head of like this secret occult that worships the devil, and he has his eyes set on Tommy. He's very familiar with Tommy and friends him. And pretty much what happens is they find out that the grandfather is seeing Tommy without their permission, and the father ends up going to confront him, and he doesn't end up coming back alive. Pretty much we end up finding out he gets killed. And then 13 years later goes by, and we see that Tommy has grown up and he still has this connection with his grandfather. And pretty much what they're doing with Tommy, his grandfather, is preparing him to become like the new head of this cult after he is gone. And as he always says in the film, the blood is the power. And pretty much what ends up happening is there's this Halloween party also going on with a bunch of like friends and acquaintances that Tommy's following. And there's a killer going around killing people that are connected to this murder in Tommy and the occult. And he's wearing like this awesome like devil mask, as you see in the cover. And that's pretty much the main plot. It's pretty much what's going on with the occult stuff, and also the slasher parts that happen with it, with its killer, and trying to figure out who the killer is. Now, my thoughts on this film. What a cheesy, fun ride this film is, I have to say. From the opening shots, you just see like the cheesiness as the film progresses. There's actually an interview with 2 of the cast members of this film, Gregory Scott Cummins and Katrina Gardner, who Gregory Scott Cummins plays Tommy in the film. And he talks about his experiment on this film. Like this was his first like gig that he took to try to get into big time acting. And pretty much the director of this film, Jag Mandra, who was Indian, he couldn't like speak English at the time very well, and there was like a language barrier with that, where he was taking the first take or some scenes that they thought were great, even though he didn't like understand and the language barrier with the scenes, and he was like saying cut and move on type deal. And plus there was another instance where Mandron was actually injured on set and couldn't actually like direct a film, so they used like the DP was actually finishing like certain shots that Mandron wasn't there. Like he was there in person, but sometimes he couldn't because he was ailing from his injuries that he sustained on set. And that's very interesting that like this low budget style filmmaking, especially like when a director gets injured, you had to have like the DP help you out like directing the film. Now, with that saying, there comes like some shakiness in the performances in some characters. Some are really great. Like I gotta say, like probably the greatest performance in this film is the grandfather, played by High Pike, who's just very hammy and gets into his character very well. Like he does like these natural gestures, like he does like the devil horns and stuff throughout the film, and it's just very cheesy at the same time, but awesome that he gets into his character that way. And this film has like a lot of like different tones and stuff going on with it, like especially with like the occult stuff and the slasher stuff. There's even some hints of like giallo in this film, and just the themes in it, it's just odd. Like there's some like incest themes that happen within this film, and just some like crazy like 80s themes that happen throughout it. Like there's one scene in particular where it turns into like a full-blown music video, and there's like this whole like scene where like it's like a montage of like the song playing with like Tommy is like this guitarist, kind of like a dream sequence type deal. And I don't want to give it the whole thing away, but it's very cheesy and 80s at the same time, so it's fucking awesome. Very interesting. Like I could say, some of the kills in this film though are kind of not the greatest things ever. Some of the kills in the beginning of the film, first few kills are awesome. Like you can see like the effects that were done and the gore, but some of them are kind of like cop out kills in my opinion. Like there's one that involves like a rope. I'm not going to say who it is or how it goes down, because I did like the kind of the setup to the kill, even though I did kind of think that you have this awesome looking killer, you could have him do some awesome looking kills in the film. But there's some awesome like cool like gore kills and stuff. They're very short and quick though. And the body count's kind of minimal. It's kind of like in that mid-average category. It kind of has like a 5 to 6 like body count this film, which is better than having like a 3 or 2. Sometimes these films do have that type of body count to them. But there's a lot also going on with this film, especially with like the occult and just the characters getting to know each other, and just the scenarios are awesome, especially with like satanic stuff, like I said, and just trying to find out who the killer is, pretty much like some investigation stuff that goes on, which I had fun, especially with the cheesy dialogue in this film. I had a blast watching this, man. If you're a fan of like 80s slasher or like occult films, and you like some of your 80s cheese, this is the perfect film to watch, especially during the Halloween season, which it takes place, and just has some cheesy and bizarre moments, like the whole Halloween party theme. There's like some crazy shit that happens with that I don't want to really spoil, but it's just some really awesome and cheesy shit. So if I had to rate Hack-O-Lantern, I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. That might be a little higher than a lot of people would probably give this type of film, but it has a lot of charm to it too, because of the time period it came out in, and the cheese, and the stories that I was hearing like through the special features and the commentary brought my rating up a little higher because of the problems that this film had when it was being made. And I still had fun with it though. It's still a very fun and entertaining watch for a cheesy film. So 7 out of 10 for Hack-O-Lantern. Awesome release from Massacre Video. Of course, special features, like I said, there's an interview with Gregory Scott Cummins and Katrina Gardner. There's a public access interview with Katrina Gardner, Murder Gant, and director Jag Mundra. And there's an audio commentary with producer Raj Madrata. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. I probably butchered the hell out of it. But really awesome transfer also. Some like lines and grains in the transfer, but still awesome because it has like that natural feel like you're watching the screen, but it looks great, the film. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Hack-O-Lantern. Highly recommend this film and this release from Massacre Video. Awesome shit. Alright guys, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'll be back next week with another one, guys. Peace out.